Who tops and who bottoms? Obviously the one in the wheelchair bottoms. Look at the other guy menacingly towering over him, while he's just smiling like an idiot. Clearly a bottom, no matter how you look at it. He's the top? Today we are here to guess things about THRICE married to a salted fish. I've gotten my sister, who is a fan of salted fish, to prepare a few questions for me to take a guess at and answer. In case some of you haven't read the synopsis, let me quickly read it out for you. 10 years of exhaustive study and sleepless nights have suddenly been rendered meaningless for aspiring imperial physician Lin Qingyu. In the midst of his education, he's instructed to set aside everything and marry Lu Wancheng, the sickly son of the Marquise, all in the hopes that this union will heal the illness that plagues the young master. However, Lin Qingyu quickly discovers that Lu Wancheng isn't just an ill-fated aristocrat. In fact, the man has a mysterious sixth sense that could help Lin Qingyu outmaneuver anyone, even royalty. Thus, Lu Wancheng proposes an idea to his new male bride. One that will help Lin Qingyu back home to continue his studies and fulfill his dreams, both benign and dastardly. Yet as feelings bloom between these two new allies, a dark truth threatens to rip them apart in both sickness and in health. Alright, to preface, I have read a few chapters of this novel, a result of having someone around me praising it to the moon. All I know is pretty surface level and what's revealed in the first few chapters. That is, the male lead is a transmigrator, and the main character, Lin Qingyu, is a villain. Feel free to guess along with me in the comment sections while you watch this video. What is the male lead's original name before he got transmigrated? So, his current body's name is Lu Wancheng, but that's not his real name, so let's make one up for him. Since he's a salted fish, his name should either have the character Xian or Yu. But since the main character already has a Yu in their name, it can only be Xian. Now I just add a common surname and another character, and behold! His real name is actually Gu Xianshi, which means thoughtful and virtuous. It could also mean I died from being too salty. But anyways, isn't this the perfect name? From this point onwards, you and I shall refer to him as only Gu Xianshi. What is the name of the book the male lead transmigrates into, and what is it about? It must be a harem novel. The loser protagonist reincarnates into ancient China as the crown prince, and while battling palace drama, he collects beauties from all around the world on his way to claiming the dragon throne. The book title would be, I reincarnated as the hateful crown prince and am forced to court 12 gorgeous princesses from around the world to preserve my life. Why is life so hard? What do you think Lin Qingyu's original fate was? Obviously the fate of every evil schemer. He gets all his limbs cut off and stuffed into a pot. What kind of business does Lin Qingyu unexpectedly gets involved in? A. Underground black market. B. Illicit salt trade. C. Human trafficking. D. Auction houses. E. Brothel industry. F. Gambling. First off, human trafficking being one of the options is insane. If the answer really is that, I commend the author for writing such a morally dead main character. Except for the brothel industry, these all seem like things a big villain like Lin Qingyu would do, so it's probably that. But for some reason, my eyes keep gravitating towards the illicit salt trade. Something about it is screaming, "Pick me!" Or maybe it's just funny to imagine someone as cold and aloof as Lin Qingyu to be in some back alley smuggling salt of all things. So instead of choosing these two possible answers, what if I make up my own answer? What answer, you ask? Well, I think there's a job that's very suitable for Lin Qingyu. That is, matchmaking. News of how he could find love and remarry 3 times spread across town. Everyone comes knocking at his door wanting to know how he did it. Lin Qingyu over here thought he might as well profit off these annoying people. So he randomly matches people up based on whose pulse speeds up the fastest when he touches their wrists. Clearly a sign of love. Or high blood pressure. But anyways, my answer is E, brothel industry. Who are the 3 people Lin Qingyu marries? So the first identity is Lu Wancheng, a sickly young master. The next 2 identities... What are some typical identities that the main characters transmigrate into? I'm scrolling through some ancient China novels and I'm seeing some shijuns, enemy spies, and some useless princes. Wait, it'd be kind of funny if Gu Xianshi transmigrated into a eunuch. That could be like a way to prevent them from developing their relationship on a deeper level. Plus, it could help with palace drama to have an insider. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more reasonable it sounds. The other identity would probably be something typical, like a general or something, just because it's like the most common identity for a melee to possess in ancient China. I mean, like, it has all the good stats already prepared. Power, prestige, a body. But that's such a boring identity compared to eunuch. Don't you agree, Gu Xianshi? At this point, I'll be disappointed if he isn't a eunuch in the next life. Hey, I just thought about it, and there's no specification on whether the body he transmigrates into is human or not. Does that mean Gu Xianshi can transmigrate into an actual fish in the next life? What secret code does Melit give Lin Qingyu to recognize him in the next life? Is it his real name, Gu Xianshi? Or is it something modern related, like iPhones? Oh, but the protagonist of I Reincarnated as the hateful crown prince and enforced to court 12 gorgeous princesses from around the world to preserve my life. Why is life so hard? Is also from modern times, so that won't work out. Oh, what if it's like a song exchange of Gu Xianshi's favorite song or something? Master Lin, Eunuch Gu at the door said he wanted to sing a song for you. Eunuch Gu? My arch enemy? Tell him to go sing his song elsewhere, or the next song he sings will be his funerals. This identity is a bit troublesome. Trespassing on my property? Guards, send him away! Ow! Wait. If this novel was ending, then I'd wanna be next to Lin Qingyu. If the transmigration was over, and our time together was through, I'd wanna you just for a night and die with a smile. I don't remember this part. If this novel was ending, then I'd wanna be next to my wife, lynching you, bitch! Oh my god, it really is you. Do you think the male lead was successful in his original world? Successful at being a salted fish? Yes. And since he's a salted fish, we must trust that the job he would have would require the least amount of effort. And what other job would be more perfect than a professional bed tester? Hear me out, he gets paid to sleep around on different beds all day. Is this not the job a salted fish dreams of? What's that? You think Gu Xianshi is a young, successful entrepreneur CEO in his original world? Tisk. You mustn't think like that, dear viewers. That's too cliché. And to think that would undermine BKB's creativity. Did the male lead and Lin Qingyu consummate their marriage in male lead's second rebirth? That would be impossible. Because Gu Xianshi is a eunuch in his second life. I'm not changing my mind. My headcanon is that they never get to do it, because fate manages to cock-block them every lifetime. How does the novel end? Gu Xianshi wakes up and finds himself in a lab. You see, Gu Xianshi had actually volunteered himself in a realistic VR simulation project a few months ago. He heard that he only needed to lay down and sleep while the developers collected data from him, so he readily agreed. Realizing everything was fake, Gu Xianshi is hurt and gets ready to leave when he accidentally bumps into someone that looks exactly like Lin Qingyu. It turns out that Lin Qingyu was actually also one of the participants in the project. Gasp! And then they slowly fall in love again in reality and get married for the 4th time. This time for real. The end. For readers who have already read this novel, were any of my guesses correct? I asked as if I hadn't completely derailed the plot of this novel off a bridge. The physical English book release for THRICE Married to a Salted Fish was announced recently. You can pre-order it now on the 7 Seas website. I'll leave the link in the description box below. It's scheduled to release this November. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more in the future. I'll be reviewing THRICE Married to a Salted Fish soon, so look out for that.